everyone, welcome to Jacqs. I'm Jackie. Thank you for joining me today. We are creating our next card, and it is using the Creative Stamping issue 67 magazine, and we are going to focus on this card right here. And this actually shows how to use elements within a stamp. And in this magazine came a vintage collage stamp set. I love all of these stamps. It is still available in these stores and should be available until May 1st. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to do something a little different today. I actually recently purchased these Ivory Smooth A7 cards and envelopes by Coordinations. I got them at Pat Catan's, who is going out of business. And they are a 5x7 card. Now I may cut this down a little bit, but this is what I'm going to start with for my card base. So it is 5x7, and we're going to do it in the vertical direction, even though the magazine showed it in a landscape format. And I'll show you the reason why a little later on. So working in the vertical direction, we are going to do some stamping first. The stamps that we're going to use today is this checkered background stamp, as well as possibly the splats. Because I'm using a rescored card base, I am going to use my Tim Holtz Tonic Studios stamping pad. And with this, you want to make sure that you can read the word clear, because our stamps are clear. If we had rubber, we would turn this around to where we could read the word rubber. Okay. Now the way I'm going to do this is actually on the side, because the card fits perfectly onto the platform without having to have it hang over or anything. So I'm going to go ahead and add my magnets to get the card in the place that I want it. Okay. Now what we're going to do is use the checkered background, and we are going to place it randomly on the page, and we're going to use first and second generation stamping. Now I don't want to get any on this particular part of the card, so I'm going to put some tape here to protect that. What I'm going to use is this medicine tape that I got at the Dollar Tree. It is almost like washi tape, and actually I've taken this and I've stamped on this and used it as washi tape. Okay, we are going to use Vintage Photo Distress ink. And because I want first and secondary stamping, I'm going to use a stamping block, acrylic block, but I am going to use the platform. But if we used this, we would only be able to get, like, you know, first generation stamping. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and use this. Okay. Now we're just going to randomly stamp, and I'm going to do some stamping in this area, kind of going diagonal. So the top here and down here. Next, I'm going to use the splat stamp, and I'm going to use Ranger Archival ink in sap green. Again, I'm just using colors that I have on hand. To clean off the stamps, I'm just using a baby wipe. Okay, so once we remove the tape and fold our card in half, this is what it will look like. So let's move on to the next step. Okay, I'm going to set this aside for a moment because I'm going to do something different. I have decided that I want to use an embossing folder on this, and I'm going to use this one from Cuttlebug, and it's the alphabet. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Vagabond and emboss this, and we'll see how that turns out. Okay, I've run that through once, and this is what it looks like. Okay, I do think it's kind of cool having the colors on the raised letters. Okay, so when we did the embossing, it left a mark on the bottom of the card, and that's because the embossing folder didn't go all the way down. This was the end of it. See, the embossing folder went this far, so of course it made a line then right here going around the corner. So what I want to do is actually cut this down. So the card ends up being about 6 5/8 by 5. Now, if you wanted to, you could also cut off a little bit more here, but I don't think that it's really needed. For our first layer, we're going to cut a green piece of cardstock, and this is 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. Because I didn't have any gold or deep yellow cardstock, I am using a bit of parchment paper that I have. I got this legal size pad, and I cut out a size that measures 3 1/2 by 5 1/4. So it would look layered like this. So using our Tim Holtz platform, again, we are going to add a white piece of cardstock along with our magnets. And we are going to use our stamp from the stamp set of the Typewriter. Let's put this where we want it. Ultimately, we're going to cut out the Typewriter, and that's kind of what this particular card making is about. When you have stamps, there's always images in them that you could cut out and use. So in this one, although it's a collaged stamp, we're going to cut out the Typewriter as well as the bird. And if we use this one, we could cut out the butterfly, the postage mark, these little thistles, or whatever they're called. But just remember that there's more things that you can do or how to use your stamps than just what's obvious. Okay, so we have this aligned here. I'm going to get it on real good. And then I'm going to use some black archival ink to ink that up. Now I'm inking the bird as well as all of the Typewriter part. So we'll press down here. I think we'll do a little bit of the Typewriter again here. This is the first time I'm using the stamp, so sometimes it's always good to practice on the first time around. I think I'll move this magnet. And there we have it. Okay, now that our image is stamped out, we are going to cut out the Typewriter as well as the bird. Okay, next what I want to do is I've cut out my Typewriter, and it's a bit of a stark white. So I'm going to use my vintage photo again and just kind of make that a little bit less bright. Now you can also take markers and color all of the numbers, but I don't think I want to do that, because actually the typewriter colors were a bit of an ivory color, or they were black with gold or white. So I'm just going to stick with the vintage look. There, I think that's much better. Okay, so this is what we were looking at currently, and I've once again decided to use the Cuttlebug embossing folder. And so now it would look something like this. With our typewriter on top. And I am loving that, I must say. The one thing I didn't think about is I should have stamped first and then did the embossing. So we will try to go ahead and do the stamping, see how it turns out. And if it doesn't turn out, I will just do it again. So let's start with the checkered background here. And I'm going to use a scrap piece of paper so it won't be so dark on here. So more of a second generation stamp. I see it still kind of works, so that's good. So I'm kind of just doing this willy-nilly a bit all over. And let's try the splat a little bit using the sap green from Archival Ink. I think I'm okay with it being just like that. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Now remember, we haven't adhered anything down yet. We're still trying to work it out. It's kind of cool. Okay, I think we'll leave this like that, and the next thing we'll work on is the paper coming out of the typewriter. Now for this next part, what you can do is use any color paper that you would like, and you can use the stamp set if you have it. There's a Just a Note and a Have a Great Day that are perfect for this, because what we're going to do is create a paper that looks like it's been typed on, but that actually comes out and kind of rolls around. What I've decided to do is to print it on vellum, and so I used Word on my computer and typed this in, Just a Note, to say have a great day. And I used some washi tape here to attach the vellum to a regular piece of copy paper so that it would pull it through the machine without any problem. Next, I'm going to trim this down so that it would go on here and look like that, just to help you get the idea of where I'm going with this, if I'm not making any sense. I wanted to use vellum because it has a see-through capability, and I kind of wanted to still be able to somewhat see the background on that. So this is what I'm doing. I'm going to cut this out and I'll give you the measurements. So this came out to 4 7/16 by 1.5. And I made it a little bit longer here so that I could glue it to the back side of the typewriter. So that's what I'm going to do now. I've got it centered there where I want it. And I'm going to add some glue just along the bottom side of that. So I bought this Easy Runner permanent vellum adhesive, and it's by Scrapbook Adhesives, and I thought maybe I would try this out. I got this at Joann's. So we'll see if it, you know, provides the ability to not be able to see the glue through the vellum. I mean, you can see the glue on there. Hope you're able to see that. Let's see. Okay, I got this exactly where I want it. And on the back side, I'll give it a little burnish. And actually, you can't see the glue. So that's interesting. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not, but it seemed to work okay. Now, once we have that here on the bottom, what we're going to do is take a pencil or another round object, and we're going to kind of roll the paper on it. So rolling it around it. You can go as far down as you like. I think I'm going to go that far. And I'm kind of just squeezing a little bit so it will get the shape of it. There we go. So when we adhere this, it will kind of look like your paper is, like you've made, you know, this really long script, and it's just rolling off the typewriter backside. I think I'll do that again and make it a little bit tighter. Could probably even add a little bit of glue if you wanted to. I'm trying not to do that. I imagine if you had paper, it would do that much easier than the vellum. So I think that's cute. So to adhere this, what I'm going to do is add foam adhesive to the back of the typewriter. Okay, so before we adhere the typewriter, I thought what we would do is add the top base layer to the first base layer. So this is our base card, this is our first layer, and this is our top base layer. You like how I make that up? Okay, I think for this one, I'm going to adhere it flat, and then when I go to put it on the card, I was thinking about using foam tape to build that up a bit, up off the letters. Okay? So I'll go ahead and add the tape. So let's center that the best that we can. And actually I ended up using art glitter glue, but you can use, you know, wet adhesive or dry adhesive, whatever you prefer. Because this was embossed, I thought it would be better to use wet glue. Okay, that's on there really good. Okay, I have my foam adhesive on the back of this, and again, we're just going to center this on the card base. Maybe give it a little burnish there. And next we will add our typewriter. Now I have added a little bit of glue here just so that it provides some more adhesion. And I'm going to center this probably down here on the bottom because I like how that's rolling up to the top there. So let's just push that down. Now I think what we'll do is add a little adhesive to the curl right there so that it stays down. And curl that around. It is repositional, so it must be permanent after you leave it a while. So there we have it. Our Just a Note card. Very cute. Okay, just a quick update. What I did was I actually put I rolled up the end there where I had the adhesive and I attached it to the top of the paper, and then I put more adhesive on the round part of it so that it was more of a tighter curl, and then it will lay flatter than the way we had it. So when we put it in the envelope, you just lift up to get over it, and then it's not so loose in there. Okay, so it will still probably get flattened, but it's still gonna look just fine. On the inside, I thought it might be neat to add a line and the feather that came in the stamp pad, the stamp pack with the magazine. So I pulled out the Bo Bunny Stitches stamp set, and I'm going to use the one that looks like just a plain stitch, but it almost would probably look like if you hit the dash line on a typewriter. So we'll give that a try. Using archival ink again. That's going to be cool with the pen feather right there. Oh yeah, I'm making it. Or should we have it here? I think I want it leaning here a bit. Perfect. Geez, I couldn't have done that again if I wanted to. Awesome, awesome. Loving that. For the cover of the envelope, I'm going to use this stamp set that I got from AliExpress. I will link this all down below. And this nice frame here. I thought that would be good to use, and I'm going to use it on parchment paper. Kind of do a layering effect on the front to mirror the card. Okay, I just used archival ink again. So it has a bit of a distressed look to it. I think that'll be fine. It'll kind of grow with the distressed typewriter. So I'm going to cut this out and a layering piece to go along with it. Okay, for the envelope, what I've done is use this set again to use this little bitty decorative piece here. And I've placed it in each corner. And this, you know, I use to stamp that. And then I'm going to layer this on top of a green cardstock piece. And what I've decided to do is use the Bo Bunny Take Note stamp. And this one of the typewriter keys I stamped on here with Vintage Photo. And then we're going to layer these two pieces together. I like the idea of the keys kind of sticking out there. Now, because I'm expecting these to be used in the mail or hand delivered, I'm not, you know, making an altered envelope here. We're just putting a little bit of decoration on it to go with what we've created. Okay, so we're going to center this label, if you will, onto our cardstock here. I am using Sticky Thumb adhesive roller. I don't know. I don't normally use these, you guys. I don't know what it's called. Okay, so we will now center this. And I decided to use the butterfly on the front. I thought that was cute there. So I gotta get the vellum adhesive. Okay, so we'll adhere. These are really sticky coming out of that Cane Company package. They're like not sticky, but very staticky, which is interesting. So, am I doing this right? This is hard to figure out. I always hold it the wrong way. Again, I'm not used to holding these types. I'm just used to rolls or glue bottles. So I don't even know how much I got on here. Hopefully it's enough. It seems sticky. And I'm going to put it right below there, I think. There we go. So using this vellum permanent adhesive, you know, you really can't see it after you adhere something. So I'd say that was a go for purchasing. Again, I got that at Joann's. I will have it linked down below. So that's it for today, everyone. This is our envelope and our card. And we did that great little design on the inside. Again, please use these supplies that you have on hand. I think all the stamping and everything came out really well, and we figured out how to roll it to where it would not be extremely intrusive when you're trying to load it into the envelope. Before you go, I did want to ask you a question. When I create the slide that gives you the details for the next card coming up, and then when we come to do them, I notice I change my mind and possibly supplies. And I don't know if that's frustrating to you or not. So my question to you is, do you like getting a supply list, or would you rather just watch the video and me have the supply list in the description below? If you would let me know, I would really appreciate it, because I really want to make these videos for you, and the best way that is enabling you to make the card along with me. So again, just let me know down below if you like to receive the supply list ahead of time, or if you're just going to go with the flow, and I'll put them in the video description after I've already created this card and envelope, so that you have a better idea of what I've used. Okay, that's it, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining me, and I'll see you next time.